I want to thank Dr. Chitra Anand for the interview we just did on trust. And I want to comment on a few of my own thoughts on this issue, because I really think it's a really important issue. I think that there's been lots of commentators, and I mentioned in the interview Francis Fukuyama, who wrote an incredibly good book on trust that I studied as part of my doctorate of business, which I didn't finish, but I'm all but dissertation on, just to be politically correct and accurate in that description. But there's lots of other commentators that have done some work on this. Dr. Brene Brown, who I think a lot of people have read, heard, etc., had this acronym BRAVING that she talked about in regards to trust. And it was that you establish boundaries, that you got to be reliable, you got to be accountable, you've got to have a vault, which is, if you got a secret, you don't spread it. You got to have integrity, but you got to be non-judgmental, and you got to have generosity. Bravery was the acronym for it. Boundaries, accountable, vault, integrity, non-judgmental, and generous. I left out reliable. So a lot of these things are fairly soft, which is what trust is all about. And then someone else talked about reciprocity. The trust comes from reciprocity. And so it was know yourself, be committed and consistent, have character and integrity, but have a deposit mentality. And that means that you got to deposit trust to get trust back. There's a reciprocity in trust. And so trust goes two ways. And I think that's truth. Someone else said it was logic, being empathic, and being authentic. I like that. Trust has got to be logical, but you've got to have empathy for the other person to want to have trust for them, and you've got to be authentic for them to trust you. Another scientist said it was commitment, caring, consistency, and competence. Commitment, caring, consistency, and competence. Someone else said competency, consistency, intimacy, and orientation. Another one, benevolence, reliability, competence, honesty, openness. There's something about trust in a lot of these words that I've been talking about that really resonate with me in the fact that you've got to be yourself. You've got to know yourself. You've got to be authentic. But then you got to try to know the other person. You've got to be empathetic. You've got to have character. You've got to be consistent in your attitudes toward them. You've got to have that vault toward them. You've got to be benevolent. You've got to be honest. You've got to be open. I think that one of the other things that Dr. Anand talked about was that trust is like a muscle. And the conversations with people that you have that build trust are things that the more you build trust, the stronger your trust in them gets and the stronger their trust in you gets. And so trust is something that you, like a reputation that you build over time, but that when you lose it, you can lose it very easily. She talked about it being the glue that keeps society together. It's the glue that keeps a lot of things together. It's a word that's worth a lot of thought and a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplation. That's just a few thoughts for you tonight. That's my show for tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm on every night at 6 o'clock on 960am. You can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. All my podcasts and videocasts are available on my website, briancrombie.com. Good night, everybody.